Hello and welcome back to this tutorial, and today we're gonna do the authentication part. So we're gonna do this for each schema or for each mutation in query, because I'm seeing a lot of people using authentication, but something more global for like putting this on the express level. So your GraphQL couldn't do anything about the authentication, like everything needed to be private. So for today we're going to create something more flexible. So to get started here, I'm going to create just a variable. So it's going to be our users for now. And let's see, we have a user ID1. The username is my name and the password is 123. So oops. So that's what we need to about data to make the login. So now we need a mutation. So I'm gonna create a mutation. I'm gonna call it login. Nothing special here. And so the parameters would be, I'm gonna have the username, which is string, and also the password. Which is also a string. So for this, I'm thinking about return just a string with the token. So I'm gonna pass that as a string. So now we need to specify our function, and here we can create a function. We're gonna call it login. We're gonna need the args, so it's gonna be the parameter of our function. So now what we're gonna create is a way to get my user using my parameters. So this is our database. So what I'm going to do is use a find method and search for this array. So I'm gonna create a variable called function. I'm gonna create a result variable. So it's gonna use the I'm gonna go through the user array and find. So we're gonna need our username to be equal our args.username user, and also our password to be equal or args.password. And now if this returns a eating, we actually have a user with this credentials. So if we have a result, we can say we can return we're gonna return just user logged. So for now, and if it's not, return user not logged. So oops, sorry. And if we save it, I'm actually using nodeMon to refresh automatically. And if we go to our schema here and login and pass our username, it's my name, and password, we should be able to see user not logged. Oh, it's capital. So now we are able to see that we actually found our user. And now what we need, now we need to create a token. I'm gonna use JWT because it's what everyone has been using. And so I'm using Yarn, so I'm gonna install using yarn add JSON web token. And now I'm gonna initialize my project, so using nodeMon to not have to reopen every time. And now we can import our JWT. So usually I use just JWT, and it is equal require JSON web token now. And here, instead of just return this string, we can create a variable I usually call token, and it's gonna be our JWT sign, and here we pass our payload. I usually pass a object containing the ID, which is our result.id. And we can pass other stuff here, but I will recommend you to not put critical data or sensible data, because it's gonna be visible. So take care about this part. And here I'm gonna pass our secret token, secret key. We generally use this button in a safer place, because it's sensible as well, but I'm just using a string directly because I wanted this to be quickly. And now instead of return user logged, we can return our token. And let's test again, and you can see that we already have our token. So now what we do to this, now we need to pass this on our header. So I'm gonna put it here, and here I'm gonna create a function to handle this part for us. So whenever we want some place to be private, we can pass this function, and if this function returns false, it means that it can't proceed. So I'm gonna create a function. I'm gonna name it alpha, and now we're gonna receive a token. And here we're gonna create a variable. We're gonna call it verify, and it's gonna be JWT, and we're gonna use this method that is used to verify our token. So now we pass just the token here, and the secret key, the same as we passed before. And now if our verify is true, we can return true, and if it's not, we can return false. And now let's say we want the cars to be private, so we just need to use our method but we need to get our context, and here we can verify if our alpha context dot utilization, and if it's true, we can return cars. If it's not, we can just return nothing, or we can make something better, but for now just return an empty object. Now to make it work, we need actually to access this part of our application to get the request and send to the GraphQL using our context. You can see that we are using the context, but it is actually not set up here. And what we need to do to set up our context is, instead of return this object directly, we can actually use a callback here and return our object. So with this being done, something went wrong. Yeah, we return the object using our callback, and now we have this, which is our request. And now we can access the context and pass the request headers. And with this being done, now if we go to this, and this is the arguments, and the next one is the context, which contains our authorization that we passed just right here. And if you do this, we actually can go now to our cars, our token is invalid. Oh, I forgot something. To make our token work in this part, we actually need to remove the bearer token. I can't show this because it goes automatically, but whenever you put a token here, it's the convention to put bearer at first, like this. But to make it works in this method here, we need to take this off our string. So to make this, I'm gonna use a JavaScript string function to separe everything based on space and get this second part with the index 1. So after this, we now are able to fetch our object. And if we may delete our token, you can see that we lost our access to this method. And that's pretty much what I was trying to teach for now. And thank you for watch this, and I see you on the next one.